Imagine this. You wake up feeling anxious for no clear reason. Nothing bad happened, you slept fine, and your life seems okay. Yet your mind feels heavy, foggy, and restless. What if I told you the reason might not be in your mind at all, but deep inside your gut? Right now, trillions of tiny living organisms inside you are influencing your thoughts, your happiness, your motivation, and even your stress. It sounds unbelievable, but the truth is your body houses a hidden world that silently shapes how you feel every single day. So, how do these microscopic creatures control your mood without you even noticing? Let's break down the science and the mystery of how your gut microbes decide your emotions, behavior, and mental clarity in ways you never imagined. 1. The gut-brain connection, a two-way highway of emotion. Your gut isn't just a food processing machine. It's an intelligent, communication-driven system that constantly sends messages to your brain. This network is called the gut-brain axis, and it works both ways. Your brain influences your gut, and your gut influences your brain. This conversation happens through a complex web of nerves, chemicals, and hormones. The vagus nerve, sometimes called the superhighway of emotion, runs directly from your gut to your brainstem. Every time you eat, feel stressed, or experience strong emotions, signals are exchanged instantly through this pathway. What's truly fascinating is that your gut doesn't just relay data, it helps create emotions. Around 90% of serotonin, the neurotransmitter responsible for happiness and emotional balance, is produced in your gut, not your brain. So when your gut bacteria are happy, you often are too. And when they're inflamed or imbalanced, your mood can crash without warning. That's why sometimes, after junk food, you might feel not just bloated but irritable or low. Your microbes respond to what you feed them, and their chemical reactions ripple straight into your brain. 2. Your gut microbes. The tiny mood regulators you never knew about inside you right now live around 100 trillion microbes, bacteria, fungi, and other tiny organisms. Collectively, they form your microbiome, and they outnumber your human cells by nearly 10 to 1. Think of them as your invisible roommates, some helpful, some lazy, and some downright toxic if left unchecked. The helpful ones protect your digestion, produce vitamins, and maintain immune balance. But their most mysterious role lies in mental health. Some bacteria produce neuroactive compounds, chemicals that act exactly like brain messengers. For example, certain gut bacteria create GABA, which calms anxiety. Others help generate dopamine, linked to motivation and pleasure. Now imagine this ecosystem going out of balance. Say you take antibiotics, eat too much processed food, or live under constant stress. The bad microbes multiply while the good ones die off. Suddenly, your brain stops receiving the calming, stabilizing chemicals it needs. You might feel more anxious, moody, or even depressed without realizing why. It's not just in your head, it's in your gut chemistry. In a sense, these microbes are like a hidden control room, silently adjusting the volume of your emotions. You don't see them, you can't feel them, but they decide how your brain reacts to life itself. 3. How food shapes your thoughts. Every bite you take is a message to your microbes. Foods rich in fiber, polyphenols, and natural probiotics like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains feed the good bacteria that help produce calming neurotransmitters. But foods high in sugar, refined flour, and preservatives do the opposite. They fuel bacteria linked to inflammation and anxiety. Inflammation is key here. When your gut becomes inflamed due to bad diet choices, it sends distress signals to the brain. These signals trigger the release of stress hormones and inflammatory molecules that can cloud thinking and lower mood. That's why people who constantly eat fast food or processed snacks often experience fatigue, irritability, and poor concentration. Your diet doesn't just change your waistline, it rewires your emotions. A single meal can alter microbial activity within hours. Over time, those small shifts add up, creating either harmony or chaos in your gut-brain network. The cleaner and more natural your diet, the more stable your emotions tend to be. The modern diet, however, often does the opposite, and the microbes take the hit first. 4. Stress. The silent microbe killer stress is one of the most underestimated mood disruptors, and it doesn't only attack your mind. It directly alters your gut ecosystem. When you're under stress, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, which can reduce blood flow to the digestive system, slow metabolism, and weaken the intestinal barrier. This creates an environment where harmful bacteria can grow, while the beneficial ones die off. The result? Poor digestion, inflammation, and an overactive nervous system, all of which make anxiety and depression worse. It's a cruel loop. Stress hurts your microbes hurt your mood, and your low mood creates more stress. Breaking that cycle requires not only mental calm but also microbial recovery. Techniques like mindfulness, deep breathing, or even laughter have been shown to improve gut function because they reduce the body's stress chemistry. So the next time you're feeling emotionally unstable, don't just look for comfort in logic. Sometimes the best therapy might be rest, nature, or a deep breath, anything that restores balance to the living network inside you. 5. Sleep. When your microbes do their most important work, while you sleep, your gut microbiome doesn't. It works all night to repair, detoxify, and produce the molecules that help regulate your emotions. Poor sleep, however, throws this delicate rhythm into chaos. Studies show that even one night of bad sleep can drastically shift your gut bacteria composition. The microbes that help produce serotonin and dopamine start to decline, while those linked to inflammation rise. That's why after sleepless nights, you don't just feel tired, you feel emotionally off, irritable, and disconnected. Sleep isn't just a rest for your brain, it's maintenance time for your entire internal ecosystem. A steady sleep schedule supports both cognitive performance and microbial health. When your microbes thrive, your mind feels clearer, more resilient, and naturally happier. 6. The role of the leaky gut in mental distress. You've probably heard of the term leaky gut, but few understand how deeply it ties to mental health. When your intestinal barrier becomes weak, toxins and partially digested food particles can leak into your bloodstream. Your immune system reacts to this as a threat, triggering widespread inflammation, including in your brain. That inflammation can disrupt neurotransmitter balance, dull mental clarity, and trigger emotional volatility. Many people describe it as brain fog, a sense of mental heaviness or confusion. Your gut lining is like the border between two worlds, your internal health and your external emotions. When it's strong and sealed, your brain receives calm, clear messages. When it's damaged, chaos seeps through, and your emotions suffer. Rebuilding that barrier with nutrient-rich foods, probiotics, and less stress is key to both mental and physical peace. 7. The surprising role of probiotics and fermented foods. Probiotics live bacteria found in fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi are often called happy microbes. When consumed regularly, they help replenish your gut with beneficial bacteria that promote emotional stability and reduce anxiety. These microbes influence your mood through direct chemical pathways. Some strains produce tryptophan, an amino acid that your brain uses to create serotonin. Others calm inflammation and improve the body's response to stress. But probiotics alone aren't enough. You also need prebiotics, which are fibers that feed these bacteria. Think of it like gardening. Probiotics are the seeds, prebiotics are the soil, and your emotions are the blooming flowers. The healthier the soil, the more resilient and balanced your mental state becomes. 8. How microbes influence motivation and decision-making. Here's something even more shocking. Your microbes can subtly influence what you want. Some bacteria crave sugar and processed fats, so they send signals to your brain that create cravings for those foods. Others prefer fiber and nutrients, promoting healthier choices. But it doesn't stop there. Microbes can affect your dopamine system, the part of your brain responsible for motivation and reward. When your gut is balanced, dopamine flows naturally, and you feel driven, inspired, and focused. When it's imbalanced, dopamine activity drops, and you feel unmotivated, sluggish, or stuck. So if you've ever wondered why you sometimes can't find the energy to chase your goals, or why you constantly crave junk food, the answer might not be willpower, it might be microbial manipulation happening inside you. 9. Healing the mind through the gut. The path to emotional healing doesn't always begin with therapy or medication. It can start in your digestive system. By improving gut health, many people experience reduced anxiety, better focus, and greater emotional stability. Simple changes make a massive difference. Eat more whole, unprocessed foods. Add fermented foods and probiotics to your meals. Reduce sugar, alcohol, and processed fats. Stay hydrated and manage stress daily. Move your body regularly. Exercise stimulates beneficial gut bacteria. When you nourish your inner ecosystem, you're not just improving digestion, you're reshaping your emotional reality. The gut is where your second brain lives, and that brain has the power to make your life feel lighter, calmer, and more in control. So the next time you feel down, anxious, or mentally drained, pause before blaming your mindset. Your emotions may not be a failure of willpower, they might be a whisper from the trillions of microbes living within you, asking for balance, nourishment, and peace. Your gut is not just the home of digestion, it's the cradle of your emotions. Take care of it, and you might just find the calm, clarity, and confidence you've been missing all along.